It is 6 o'clock, sir.
All right. That being said, let's open up this meeting of the November 18th, 2020 Costa Mesa Sanitary District Citizens Advisory Committee. We will start this meeting with roll call.
Thank you. Committee member Judy Takaya.
Here.
Andrew Nielsen. Phil Marsh. Sue Lester.
Here.
Judy Gilo. I saw Judy on earlier. Maybe she's muted.
I was muted.
There
I'm
you
here.
go. Thank you. Seth Greener. Monty Fields.
I'm here.
Dickie Fernandez.
I'm here. Hello.
Daniel Baum. Vice Chair Katz.
I'm here.
Chair Mike Carey.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nolani. Let's see, moving on, we will open this up to public comment. Is there anybody from the public on the call?
No, sir.
All right.
And we did not
Hearing-
receive any written public comments either, for the record.
Okay, thank you. Then moving along, we'll go to our first agenda item, which is to approve the minutes of our September 9th meeting. Did everybody have an opportunity to review those minutes? For those of you that were present?
Sue Lester, I motion to approve.
Okay.
Judy Gilo, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes of, what is it? Where is it? September 9th? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
I'm abstaining.
Oh,
I'm abstaining because I wasn't present. Sorry. Just to
okay.
clarify.
Thank you, Elodie.
Thank you.
Do you have all that, Nolani?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to our next agenda item, item number B2, an overview of the September 28th and October 26th Board of Directors meetings. Mr. Carroll, you'd like to take it away?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, committee members. I won't go over all the items on both the board meetings. I'll just highlight, unless you have some questions, I'll definitely answer your questions on specific items I don't discuss tonight. But some of the items I'd like to share with you that the board discussed and took action on. So on September 28th, let's see, if you could scroll down a little bit farther, Nolani, for me. So that item number 3, that was consider transferring out about $109,000 out our asset management fund into our wastewater CIP project, and that's for our Bristol sewer siphon repair. This project has been kind of a challenging project for us. As you recall, this is a siphon where we were cleaning at one time and our hose got stuck in the line, and so we had to cut out the hose, and then we tried to clean the secondary line that got stuck as well. And so we CCTV'd the lines, and obviously it needed some serious, it needed some repairs. But before we can do that, we had to remove a lot of concrete. That was, the pipes made out of concrete. There's a lot of concrete debris into the pipe. And so with all the water coming in and the pipe and the mortar that had to be removed, it took a lot of time removing that concrete. That work is done. However, it did eat up all the budget. And so now we need another $109,000 to finish relining both pipes. Unfortunately, due to COVID, the manufacturing of the lining material is going to be about another 3 weeks delayed. So it's because of COVID, this project is being delayed. But once we get the materials, then we'll start relining it. But the board, we need additional money, so thankfully the board approved that transfer. So that was item number 3. And then item number 4 is it was greatly appreciated by staff. The board approved a holiday pay the day before Thanksgiving and Christmas. Typically in the past, we would usually shut down a half a day by noon because as you know, prior to COVID, Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving and Christmas is probably the busiest travel days of the year. So we want to make sure our staff had ample time to get to their families. And so the board just suggested, well, why don't we just have the entire day taken off? And so we brought this back to the board for their consideration, and thankfully, and most appreciated by staff, is that they approved those 2 special holiday pays. So again, we greatly appreciate the board supporting staff on that. Any questions on the September board meeting? Okay, if not, I'll go on to the October 26th. And again, the first couple of items were just standard reports. I do want to mention, if you scroll up on item number 4, our strategic plan. This was our first quarterly report under our new 2020-25 strategic plan that the committee member participated in and was very involved and submitted great suggestions for this plan. So this was our first quarterly report. So we're well on our way trying to achieve the very ambitious goals on this plan. I think we had like 140 goals we're trying to achieve in 5 years. So that was new. And then number 5, item number 5, the next item was, it took some time to share with staff, I'm sorry, with the board. This was, unfortunately, we had a sewer spill on October 2nd, and it's a pipeline. It's a force main that's low. You don't know where it is unless you drive over it. It's inside the Mesa Drive bridge over the 55 freeway. Which obviously makes it challenging if anything happens. So the air release valve there got clogged and caused a backup, which fortunately we were able to recover all the gallons that spilled. But as you see in the staff report, some of the spillage did go into the Caltrans storm drain, which we had to clean. And obviously there was no money for this. So staff recommended transferring over $400,000 from an existing CIP project, which is the calcium removal project, and we transfer that money into this new project, which we're calling it 333. And what we're going to do now to ensure that this sewer spill doesn't happen again, we're simply going to remove the air release valve. And those plans are done. I believe they're out to bid right now, which bids are due on December 11th. And then we can remove that air release valve, and then we're done with it. But we also had to pay for the cleanup. As you can see in the staff report, it was quite costly because they had to remove all the material from the storm drain. Again, this was approved by the board on the October board meeting. We're greatly appreciate they did that, so we can continue with it, with this project. If you move down a little further, Alani. And then another big decision by the board was awarding the contract to GCI Construction for the President Pump Station construction project. This is probably, I believe, since I've been here for almost 11 years now, this is the largest contract the district has signed on one project, over $1.6 million. And this is to basically take the well at the pump station, which is a dry well. We're going to make it a wet well where submersible pumps. We're going to expand the emergency vault area, and then we're going to install a permanent generator. You might recall the late Rob Hamers proposed some alternatives for the CAC to make recommendations to the board. The alternative that the CAC recommended was to recommend to the board was approved by the board. And so those recommendations made by the CAC are being put in place, and we are expecting GCI to mobilize on December 22nd, and it will take several months for this project to be completed, about 4 or 5 months to complete this project. But we're very excited to get this project underway and get it completed. It's definitely needs to be done. And I think that was it. If you scroll down a little bit farther, Nalani, I think there was one closed session item unfortunately with Riverwatch. Unfortunately, it's a closed session. Unfortunately, I can't divulge any information under that. It's a litigation matter with an environmental group. So as that progresses and when I'm able to, I'll share more information with you when I can. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
this is Monte.
Yeah, hi, Monty.
Hi, I was wondering what information is public about that legal issue. Is there any information that we can take a look at, or is it just all private at this point in time?
Yeah, I'm just anything that's unfortunate, anything to discuss in closed session, I'm not at liberty to share with the public. And unfortunately, I just don't have anything for you to share at this point.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, hopefully down the line I will, but I just can't do it right now.
Any other questions for Scott?
Scott, I have a comment on the drain that got clogged over the 55 freeway on Mesa.
Yes.
It might be worth offline, like if I could meet you over there, because I was walking and I saw busted water. I don't know where the water main was or who was responsible for it, but it was broken and it was flooding. And I called it into the city through dispatch, and it was well before October 2nd. So I would be curious to see if the thing that got plugged is right by where I saw all that water burst, because the water burst would be the cause for the drain being plugged if it was filled with debris.
Well, the only place you would have seen this water would be underneath the bridge on the freeway. So were you on the freeway when you saw the water?
No, I was walking and a pipe ruptured, and it was literally at the top to the side of the Mesa Bridge on the front road, right by the freeway. So, it was on
that could be a water
the hill. So the water would have been running down the hill toward the freeway.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like this was that pipe, because the water, you wouldn't see anything you wouldn't see any the leakage on Newport Boulevard or on Mesa Drive, because it's underneath the bridge that goes over the freeway. So the only way you would be able to see it, you got to be driving on the freeway. It sounds like I'd be happy to meet you out there, Sue, if you could show me where it is. It might be it sounds like it might be a water main.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure that if we were talking about the same area, that maybe it wasn't something financially that the district was responsible for.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it doesn't like the same area.
Thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay, if there's no other comments or questions, we'll move on to our next agenda item, number B3. This is a receive and file report regarding door-to-door household hazardous waste collection. I believe Ms. Guzman will be taking over.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could just clarify, it's actually, we're actually seeking some recommendations from the committee on how to increase our program participation by 5%. This is one of the goals in our strategic plan. And so we would like to get, if you have any suggestions or input, we'd greatly like to hear them. Nabila is going to give the report, and if you have any suggestions, please share them with us. So I'm going to turn it over to Nabila, and she's going to give you a brief report on our program.
Thank you, Scott. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. The door-to-door household hazardous waste collection program was first launched as a service exclusively for seniors 62 years of age or older, immobile and or disabled individuals, to help them dispose of their HHW materials without leaving their homes. At the time, the district would pay CRNR $98 per collection, and non-eligible residents were directed to take their HHW materials to one of the 4 permanent facilities in the county, which are run by the OC Waste and Recycling Department. Additionally, residents could also participate. I'm sorry. Does somebody have a question?
Nope, I think that was just feedback.
Okay. So additionally, residents could participate in the biannual CMSD OC Waste and Recycling HHW collection program at Orange Coast College. In 2018, the district negotiated into the new CRNR contract the expansion of the door-to-door HHW collection program for all solid waste customers. So it's also negotiated that this program would be included in the annual solid waste rate and offered at no additional cost. The door-to-door program works as follows. They can contact CRNRs. The quantity and type of material to be collected is needed. And then the customer service works with the resident to place the material away from the sidewalk. So it's usually by the garage, by the back door, just because they want the material away from public view. Residents are eligible for 3 pickups per year, and this is a great way to get rid of electronic waste, universal waste, cleaning products, automobile maintenance products, home improvement products, personal care items, pet care items, garden care, and sharps. So below is a chart of pickups completed from fiscal year 2012-2013 through currently 2021. So fiscal year 2012-2013 through 2017-2018, you can see that the total number of collections were relatively low just because it was only a service for senior citizens, immobile or disabled individuals. And in fiscal year 2018-2019, that was the first year of the new CRNR contract. So 489 pickups were completed during the year. Last fiscal year, we experienced a 29.44% increase. It jumped from 489 to 633 pickups for the year, which is good, but it's still about a 3% participation rate for our service area. So even though the numbers have increased over the years, the overall program participation is still relatively low. The district advertises the program on social media, on the website, on our quarterly newsletter, and we've run ads in the Costa Mesa Recreation Guide. So we are asking for the committee to develop recommendations to increase program participation by 5% over the next year. This concludes my report. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, good job, Nabila. If I may, Mr. Chairman, if I can say a few comments. Again, great presentation by Nabila. This is a great program that not too many communities have. I know in my city in Orange, we don't have this program. I have to take my HHW to Anaheim. I got, it takes me about 20 minutes to get there. And this is a great program. It's, as Nabila said, it was starting to see some increase in participation, but I think COVID's having an impact on that. But believe it or not, we still experience, CRNR does still experience people disposing paint in the trash carts. I remember not too long ago, someone put some paint in the trash carts, and when the truck emptied the cart and put it in the truck, and the truck started, the machine inside started compacting the materials, the paint can exploded and paint went all over homes, vehicles, the carts, the trash truck. I mean, it was just a mess. And so, we want to definitely make sure that doesn't happen. And it's an easy, convenient program. So any suggestions the community has to help us increase participation in this program is greatly appreciated. So I'll turn it over to the community now if you have any suggestions for us.
This is Elodie. I used it for the first time this past summer, and I thought it was fabulous. I really appreciated it because in the past we've taken it over to the Rainbow in Huntington Beach.
Yes.
And it worked really well. I was really pleased to see that the website, CMSD's website, had been updated to say the type of things that could be collected and the 15-gallon maximum, because I, in my experience, had to call to get a list of what I could do and then gather all my stuff and then call back. So it was really helpful to have that on the website. And I also really appreciated seeing that you could submit it as a service request online in addition to calling CRNR. Because I think during the height of COVID, or not the height, but in the summertime, it took about a half hour before a customer service agent picked up of being on hold. So it was nice. In the past, I've called for large item pickup. It wasn't nearly that long. I think it's just on account of COVID, excuse me. But what I did want to mention is, sorry, sinus infection. This kind of relates to large item pickup as well. I had some confusion with, depending which agents I spoke with, regarding if an item counted toward large item pickup or household hazardous waste. I had initially called to have a pickup for 10 large items, including a dryer. And I think it's because the dryers get recycled. So they basically said, okay, for your 8 or 9 items, those will get picked up on one day. The dryer will be a separate pickup. But somehow in the system, the dryer got cataloged as a household hazardous waste pickup. And I had to call back several times, and depending which agent I got, they were basically saying that had, even though it was a large item pickup, it was counted as a household hazardous waste, and that basically the net was that you were maxed out at 3 pickups between the 2 programs for the year, which my understanding that was that you were maxed out at 3 per program. It wasn't, they weren't combined.
Right.
So there might just be some opportunity to make sure that the agents at CRNR are giving the ratepayers the correct information as far as making the rate of participation higher.
That's actually a good suggestion. Let me pose this question to Nabila. Is it possible that we could follow up on people who just participate in the program, maybe like a customer service? Hey, how was the program? Any issues? If we would have, it would have been nice if we would have learned about this community member Cass
at the time.
Yeah, follow up on it. So is that possible, Nabila?
If the resident submits a Gov outreach request, they do get a survey after the request is closed. A majority of the residents who submit a request do take the survey. And they do add comments when it happens, but it's really, if they are contacting CRNR directly, it's hard to get a hold of those.
And are we receiving those comments, or CRNR, or those go directly to CRNR? Do we see those
no,
comments?
Staff gets those comments.
Okay, we do
and gets the survey results.
Okay.
But thank you for the feedback, Elodie. This is something that we can definitely work with CRNR to remind all the customer service agents that these are 2 separate programs, and it's a total of 3 per program. So thank you for that.
Okay, sure. And then I was curious, the 3% participation rate, is that based on households, or do you know what I'm saying? Is that ratepayers,
yes,
or is that recurring?
No, that's based on households. So
okay, households.
Almost 23,000 homes a week.
Wow.
And we're only, last year we only completed 633 pickups.
Okay. Is there, I know for the anniversary, we had some signage on the trash trucks. Is there any chance, because I was trying to think of, because we don't have bills that go out to the ratepayers, there's not a lot of opportunities for interaction. Is there, I'm sure it could be quite pricey and complicated, but has that even been considered?
We do have the ability. We do have the ability to switch the signage on the trucks, but the signs are very small, we found. We are working on, maybe next time we can print them, making the message a lot more clear. But you would be, to be able to read it and understand it, I feel like you need to drive next to the truck.
Yeah.
Servicing down the street, you would really need to be hanging out outside and looking out to read the message.
Okay.
Can we do maybe a postcard? I know we're just talking about mailing it. A postcard would be fairly cheap to send out there, to get it to every customer. Another thing too is I am within a day or two going to be calling CRNR for a hazardous waste pickup, and I will be glad to review, all my interactions with them and come back and report exactly how well it went, whether it was an easy thing or a hard thing, or, I'll be doing one here in another day.
That'd be outstanding. And hopefully if you had a good experience, one way to actually promote it, if you don't mind, maybe share it on your social media too.
Yeah.
That'll be helpful too.
Okay.
But definitely if you're having trouble, getting through or getting misinformation, please call us so we can get to the bottom of that. Yeah, we definitely need to know.
Yeah, that way we'll have one of our own actually doing it, seeing what's going to happen. And
awesome. Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will do that.
Thank you so much.
I have a suggestion, but it's kind of a question because I don't know if legally you can do it. Is it possible to offer people a participation rebate? So, for instance, if a household participates and they have a large item pickup and they have a hazardous waste pickup or whatever, they do 3 pickups of something per calendar year. is there a way to give them like $10 off their bill at the end of the year? Or, and I'm just saying $10 because I don't even know if it's legal, but is there a way where financially they could be rewarded for doing the right thing?
Nabila, do you want to answer that? Or do you want me to help answer that?
No, you should take it. I don't know what the answer for that is.
Well, that's a great idea, Community Member Lester. Right now we do have a rewarding program for people who recycle, our cart to cart program, that we were going out, and if we see people that are recycling well, we were giving them, I think, a $25 gift card. Is that right, Nabila? I think.
Yes, $25.
So we have done that. We are seeing that, rewarding people for recycling, doing the good thing about recycling, and we'd have to see what that would, crunch the numbers and see how would that impact our budgets. Because I don't know, how much did we budget for those gift cards? Not a whole lot though, right?
No, we're giving $100 a year. So for a year.
So it's not a whole lot. We can't lower the rates because those are on the assessments. But if we were going to reward anyone, Community Lester, then my suggestion would be like a gift card, like we're doing from the cart to cart program.
Yeah, or even any type of reward that, or even a chance for a reward. Like anytime you schedule a hazardous waste pickup or large item or whatever, then you get a chance to win prizes at the end of the month or the end of the year or whatever. And I don't know how you would be able to track that unless people used the app, because I've never called for a large item pickup or anything, but I've done it on the app, and it was so simple and so quick and so painless that maybe this could be a way to encourage people to not only take advantage of the different pickups that are available to them, but also encourage them to use the app if they have the capability.
Okay. That's great. I think that's something that maybe Nabila can sit down and we could talk about that. That's a possibility. Sure. I just said, I know we just can't do a rate reduction, but maybe like from a cart to cart program, some kind of reward system. I agree that, that's usually a good motivator to reward someone for good behavior or doing the right thing. And so we'll definitely take a look into that. Thank you. That's a good suggestion.
And
Hi, Monty.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Monty.
Which one?
Yeah, Judah.
Monty, did you have a question?
Oh yeah. I had like a question and a comment. I know you spoke about the reward system, and you can't necessarily lower any rates, but maybe even consider possibly a credit. But again, just like when it comes to the gift cards, I don't really know how a credit will work into that. But they would still get charged the same amount, but a credit may be a way to kind of mitigate, like, hey, we're not giving them necessarily a discount, but we're giving them a credit. That's one thing to consider. And also when it comes to the app, I just noticed that the app changed, and now you have to log in to request a large item pickup. I'm not exactly sure when that changed, but I was wondering, is there any detail or any information on if large item pickup decreased or requests decreased or anything when it comes to them having to actually create a login password, as opposed to the way it used to be where you can just order or you can request immediately?
I'm not, I'd have to defer that to
I can answer that.
What's that?
I can answer that.
Okay.
Or Gina can answer the login question, but we can definitely track the types of requests that come in. We also do track the requests that come in directly to CRNR through phone calls. We do get the number of requests for large items on a monthly or quarterly basis. So Gina can answer more as to why the login is needed.
Oh, I understand. Like there may be, reasons that the login is needed. I just wanted to know if there's been a significant drop, or it's just been like a small drop or something like that. Because again, with the request for the items that we're talking about, like maybe the login has kind of deterred a few people from requesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not really necessarily saying that the login is a bad or a good thing. I just want to know like if there's been a change.
There's definitely been a change, but I think it's just more people are. In the beginning of that pandemic, we were getting multiple requests a day for these programs, especially large item pickups. But I think as the months have gone by, people have cleaned out their houses, so the requests have decreased. It would be interesting to see when the new app was rolled out and see if that had anything to do with it, but we have not yet analyzed that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Moni. We don't know for sure if that's a reason for requiring the login and the password. I'm assuming it's probably for security reasons. That's why we now do it for security reasons now. But we can. Well, let's see if we can see if there's a connection to that or not. We'll look into that though. Thank you.
Hi, this is Gina. There shouldn't be a login required on the app to schedule a request for large item pickup. So I will look into that if that is happening. But yeah, it shouldn't require a login.
Okay. This is
Here, Carrie, I have committee member Katz who would like to speak. She has her hand raised.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I just had
Ellen.
I just had a quick comment tying into what Sue and it was saying. On the website where it talks about the household hazardous waste door-to-door pickup, it might be a good opportunity to mention the app as a way to request the service, because it lists calling CR&R and it lists that you can do a service request via the website, but it doesn't mention the app. So that might be a good opportunity to mention that. Just a comment.
Yeah.
Sorry, Judy. Thank you.
All right. Okay. It's given me time to actually put a little note or two on the paper. I think that I can speak for a corner of the citizenry who does not go to the whatever or beyond doing fancy things with their cell phones or computers, but just a real in-person thing. And for that, well, I think you should note that that happens. But I have thought that going to high school chemistry teachers and or just high school teachers, as well as going to elementary schools with slightly different aim of the program, but in fact, like the hazardous stuff, I think high schoolers would eat it up, so to speak. The information about what it is and be told to educate their parents, as well as little kids. It would be nice if you had a presentation that you could take to a classroom. But we don't have classrooms really right now. We have large bodies and they hang around, but not everybody has access to the computers like we're looking at each other now. They don't know, not everybody Zooms. There's a whole lot that don't Zoom anything. Do you ever make pencils and have the the letters and telephone number, although a lot of people don't do the letters that are supposed to be so exciting, like the CVC doing the HHV, or and maybe we can take care of things that way. There's a lot of not familiar with this stuff and how that kind of stuff works. My son is, I'm not. But giving little tokens, even bookmarks to kids in a classroom with your telephone number and symbol, and thanks for letting me come, and you can teach your parents a thing or two on some of all this. I think I'm not getting it precisely enough. I shall resume silence for a while. Do you get it? What I'm saying, though?
Yes, I believe you're correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying presentations to the schools and to the kids, and they can bring back information back to their parents, and also like giveaways that promotes the programs. Is that correct? Is that what you're recommending?
That's part of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But
yeah.
A lot of these issues are fresh and new. They're I think even to items in the newspaper. Okay, you do stuff in newspapers, but what kind of stuff is done and into what newspapers? When you mentioned all the different places where you were accessing people, you didn't hit any of mine. But I don't do those things.
Judy, if I can ask you, where do you get news from? Where else could we advertise?
Let's see. Flyers. I think newspapers, the Daily Pilot does still put things out through LA Times. But the LA Times has sections for this area. I think, let's see, I think kids carrying home papers that that might have something that sort of grasps them, but that they can lay at home and the parent could pick it up and say, "Ooh, this is interesting."
Good suggestions. We'll definitely look into that. Thank you. Those are good ideas. Absolutely.
Thank you, Judy. Are there any more comments or suggestions? No? Hearing none?
Go
ahead.
I just have a quick question. Have you guys tried to work with Costa Mesa TV? I know they're not, depending on who you talk to, that's not an easy connection to make.
Yeah.
To get things on Costa Mesa Minute or to get things on Costa Mesa TV. So if you would like my help, if I can help you to do that, if you've run into roadblocks in the past, we can talk about that offline, because I've been extremely successful over the years getting Costa Mesa Television and Costa Mesa Minute to air things for a number of organizations in the city. So if you would like to pursue that, I'm happy to try.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, committee member Leslie. Sometimes we do hit a roadblock with CMTV or with Costa Mesa Minute. So yes, you'll get a call from us. We definitely like your assistance. Thank you very much.
Okay, absolutely.
And that's pretty much what I was, and she said it better than I did. That was one of my thoughts too. People do run their television sets a lot, and a commercial that is from an organization such as this one, it wouldn't be one that would be charged for doing the commercial. It would be one that they could take off their taxes as something to help the citizens, I would think.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's, again, a good suggestion. Hopefully, community member Lester can help us get it on TV, and hopefully that'll help us with the success. So thank you.
Any other comments on this agenda item?
This is Elodie. I had one follow up to what Judy was saying. I really liked her idea about working with chemistry teachers. I don't know if that's feasible, but it got me thinking about the battery collection program, and batteries are part of HHW.
Yeah.
In what I assume is a flyer to the kids that goes out explaining what the program is, you know, assuming once kids are back at school regularly and we can do the program again, would it be an opportunity there to mention, oh, and by the way, in addition to the battery collection, we offer this program? I don't know. Yeah. It might be kind of complicated because you have kids that are going to be not at the homes that would be serviced by CMSD for this program, but
yeah,
I was just tagging on to what Judy was saying. That might be a way to advertise it a little bit.
Definitely.
In context with the battery program, because that's been so popular.
Good point. Yeah.
Public and parochial schools also.
Yeah.
Very good. I wrote it down. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comments? No. All right, moving on. We'll move to agenda item number B4, the large item collection program. Also presented by Ms. Guzman. I don't know, Scott, you had some intro?
Yes, I'll turn it over to Nabila here in a second, but thank you, committee members. Again, this is probably our most successful and popular program in the community, large item collections, where, as you know, I think we're the only community in Orange County where you can request 10 large items to be put out on your curb 3 times a year. I think in my city in Orange, I can only put out 4 items. So it's definitely, you don't see something like that in other communities. Again, after Nabila's presentation, what we're requesting from the committee is, again, suggestions. Again, this is also on our strategic plan to try to increase participation by 5%. So if you have any great comments like you did the last item, any suggestions, please share them with us, because we would like to increase our participation in this program as well. So for now, I'll turn it over to Nabila, and she'll give you a description on the program.
Thank you, Scott. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the large item collection program works similar to the door-to-door HHW program. Resident solid waste customers are eligible for 3 complimentary pickups per year, and there's a limit of 10 items per call, where collections can be combined for a total of 30 items. And like Scott mentioned, most other cities do not allow a disposal of this many items. I know where I live, we can only dispose of 2 items a year. So 2 items to 30 items. This is a pretty great program. This program can be used to collect items as long as they don't exceed 8 feet by 4 feet or 150 pounds. So any furniture, appliances like refrigerators, washer, dryers, any contained yard debris. So if residents are doing a backyard makeover or redoing their yard and they have excess yard waste that doesn't fit in their organics cart, they can put it in bags, and each bag counts as 1 item. Scrap metal is also collected, clothing, and any other similar items that are not specifically excluded below in the staff report. So items that cannot be collected through this program are tires, car bodies, concrete, building materials, soil, chemicals, or anything bigger than 8 by 4 or heavier than 150 pounds. The chart included in the staff report is a overview over the last 5 years, the number of collections per year. And I'm sorry, I did not include this fiscal year. This fiscal year, there's been 1,350 collections so far. So the program does experience about a 5% participation per year, but overall program participation is at 23%. So it is a lot higher than the door-to-door, but still significantly low for our district area. We advertise this program on our website, quarterly newsletter, social media. So we do appreciate the committee helping us develop recommendations to increase program participation by 5% over the next year. This concludes my report. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes,
And that is, don't you pick up mattresses?
Yes, so that would be under furniture.
But isn't that sometimes bigger than 8 by 4?
Not typically. We have not had any issues picking up any mattresses because they could be laid down, so they don't have to stand up in the back of the truck.
Okay.
So there's restrictions because of the height of the truck.
Ah, that's what it is. Another, I think the senior center could be a great place to have information on some of these things, because a lot of the seniors are looking at downsizing wherever they are, and that would take care of a lot of the large pieces and other issues.
That's a great idea. Thank you.
That actually is a really good idea. And if you guys have like information that you put together in a flyer or something, I have a friend that's on the board at the senior center. I can call her and ask her if she can find out if the senior center or the board would be willing to forward information from the sanitary district to all their members. They have a lot of members there.
They have a flyer that goes out regularly, and that sort of thing could be in a flyer as part. So yes, please talk to your friend.
And I had a possible way to help this out. I know that either earlier this year or late last year, there was a few stickers on the top of the trash cans where it was like, "Good job, you're doing with what you're supposed to be doing," or "Hey, maybe you should possibly do this." Am I correct with that?
They weren't stickers, they were cart hangers.
Oh, card hangers. Okay. I was thinking possibly maybe that will work. Like maybe card hangers to kind of let folks know, like, hey, this is what you can actually call in for large item pickup and things of that nature, possibly. But I was actually thinking more stickers wise, but card hangers, if that's a little bit better for the environment, either way.
That's a great idea. Thanks.
Are there any other comments or questions or input regarding this agenda item? No, hearing none. Thank you very much, Nabila. Great report.
Thank you all.
Moving on to our next agenda item, number B5, the internal audit of the district sewer system management plan update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be doing this staff report. So on your schedule, when you approved your goals and objectives for the 2020-21 years, we had for this meeting, the committee was going to review the findings of an internal audit of our sewer system management plan, which the audit is required, the state regulation that's required for us to do this every 2 years. However, the requirement says that, you can audit it internally. You can do it yourself. Staff can audit the SSMP. However, we've always taken a position that it'd be better to have other sets of eyes, new fresh eyes, to look at the plan and see if it's effective. Because also we also figure out how can you be objective when you're reviewing your home plan, right? And some people I'm sure could, and I believe we could too. But I think it's always good to have a third party, someone from outside, to look at your plan, to make suggestions, to see if it's effective. So we've always hired consultants. We are just a little behind schedule on completing our audit. As you see in our staff report, we did solicit proposals. We got two proposals back. EEC Environmental was our low bid and responsive bid. So we did enter a contract. It has executed, and we already had a kickoff meeting. So the auditing is beginning here any day now. So by your January meeting, we will have the findings to you for your review and questions and recommendations. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for Scott?
I had a question.
Yes, please.
As regards to the audit, are they doing financial and operational? Just operational? Just
no, it's not financial. In the plan, there are like 9 elements that we have to comply under the wastewater discharge requirement that was approved by the state. And so the audit will look at all those elements to make sure that we're in compliance with what the state wants us to do, and also to make sure it's effective. And so there's really they don't look at the finances like an audit, like they're not auditing financial books, nothing like that. It's more operationals.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other comments or questions for Scott regarding this report? No? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to our closing items. Agenda item number C1, committee member and staff comments. I'll open it up to the floor here in a second, but I'd like to open up with a comment or a report. It's with extremely mixed emotions that I've chosen to step down from this committee due to my employment with CR&R. It's important to me and to the Sand District, I believe, to eliminate any perception of a conflict of interest. And I would just like to avoid all of that. I've really enjoyed my time on this committee. I value the support and input that each of you have provided, and I look forward to continuing to work with staff in the Sand District in my employment capacity, and I'm willing and open to talk to any of you privately as a sidebar. With that being said, we'll have to turn over the committee to the vice chair, Elodie. Welcome back, Elodie. Sorry about
Thank you.
springing this on you, but it's for the best. So thank you, each and every one of you.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll miss you.
I'll miss all of you.
We're sorry to hear that, Mr. Chairman. You've been a pleasure to work with, and it's unfortunate. It's your decision. I wish you didn't have to. I wish you don't do it, but respect you for your decision, and trying to keep the perception of the conflict out there. I know it's the perception, right? Even though we know from our legal counsel there is no conflict, but I understand there's perception. So what we'll do with the next January meeting, we'll put on the agenda I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the committee still has to appoint a chair, or does Vice Chair Katz automatically go in that position, or do they still have to appoint a chair?
It was my understanding that vice chair would assume the chair position, and we would need to appoint a new vice chair.
Okay, if as long as Vice Chair Katz is okay with that,
Sure.
Sure, that sounds good. Mike, congratulations on your new position. I must have missed something from being gone from the last meeting.
I was waiting for you to come back. No. Congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
Again, if you guys don't have my contact information, you'd like to talk, staff has my permission to forward along any contact information.
Okay.
With that being said, does any other committee member or staff members have any comments?
This is Sue. You guys know I always have to throw in my 2 cents. I have a comment. I have a couple, actually. The first one is, Mike Carey, you rule for so many reasons. And I'm, on one hand, super disappointed and bummed that you won't be on the committee anymore. But on the other hand, I have to commend you, because although legally there was no basis for you to have to leave the committee, you chose to do it. And I give you mad props for doing that, because you could be an example to elected officials everywhere that just because you can do something does not mean you should. So although on one hand it's our loss, it also is setting a precedent going forward. In the event that something honorable was trying to do things, there would be no precedent for them to be able to. So thank you, even though I'm sad you're leaving.
Thank you, Sue.
I second Sue. Mad props.
Thank you, Monty.
The other thing I wanted to say is, at the last meeting, I was all twisted up about the board not following their own procedures as it related to having phone meetings or meeting over the phone. And the day after the meeting, our illustrious general manager, Scott, called me and let me know that there had been a gubernatorial order that completely amended the way that public meetings were held. And I was not aware of that at the time when I made the comment. So I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. And I want to apologize because I did not have that information, and the board was not doing anything wrong. So I definitely wanted to point that out. And then the last thing, I would just like to congratulate Director Perry on being reelected. And I would like to thank President Ferryman for his 30+ years of dedicated service to the Costa Mesa Sanitary District, and just all the contributions that he has given our community through different organizations, and he's done for students and schools and residents. And he has touched so many people with his undying support. I just want to say thank you, and that he will be missed. And that's it.
I completely agree. Very nicely said, Sue. Thank you. Does anyone else have any comments for the good of the group? No? All right. Hearing none, we will close this meeting. We will adjourn this meeting at, what is it, 6:58. We made it with 2 minutes to spare. Nicely done, everybody. Thank you very much, and I look forward to meeting with all of you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Chair
everyone.
Carey.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Happy
Good night. Oh.